Now, I mentioned a few weeks ago that the year B, this is the year 2024, B meaning the 3-year cycle of readings for our Sunday scriptures. The year B is the year of Mark. Year A is Matthew, year C is Luke, year B is Mark. But Mark's gospel is so short, there's not enough passages to fill up 34 weeks of ordinary time. So every third year, when it is year B, like now, we borrow from John's Gospel, chapter 6, for 5 weeks, this Bread of Life chapter. This is week 4 of those 5 weeks. So the insert from John will end next week. We'll go back to Mark 2 weeks from today. Now, a survey was taken by the American bishops, I believe in 2019, and the survey found out concerning the real presence, the belief in the real presence, 1/3 of Catholics said they truly believe in the real presence, that the bread and wine is changed literally into the body and blood of Christ. But 2/3 did not believe. Amazing. So they had this Eucharistic revival. It began in the year 2022, 2023, and ended actually last month, July 21st of 2024, with the Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis, Indiana. But I read an interpretation about the survey. It said, maybe talking about all those who call themselves Catholics, who say to the U.S. Census Bureau, I'm Catholic, when filling out the census form. For those who go to church on a regular basis, I'm sure the percentage of those who believe in the real presence is much, much higher. I would think so. That's why you're here at church today, because you believe in the real presence and you take communion, believing that you truly receive the body and blood of Christ. But I still want to talk about why we believe or how we believe. You know, words make a difference. But some people say, no, it's just words. So Jesus didn't mean that literally. If we can look at the screen, Will, about the words. English, this is my body. Now, the strange figures below that is Greek, and I had 5 years of Greek, so I know it pretty well. Tutu estin tu soma mu. Estin in red means is. Tutu estin ta haima mu. Is. So Jesus did not say, this looks like my blood, let this remind you of my body, pretend it's my blood, it's a symbol of my body. No, he used the verb to be, estin. In Spanish, está, is. So we say that he said that, and some will say, no, well, those are words, but he really didn't mean literally. I think we can take Jesus at his word, right? Now, some other Christian religions say, no, it's symbolic, it's a fellowship meal, and so on. And they'll have communion services, some of them once a month, some of them every Sunday like we do. Some of them have bread and wine, some have grape juice and wafers, whatever. But they maybe don't believe in the real presence, but we do. Because words can really change something. Just by saying certain words, things can change. I want to try a few examples and have some audience participation. So we're going to come to each section here. And we either can have a spokesperson for each section or just y'all yell it out. So, Jesus' words. To the man afflicted with leprosy, be clean. What happened to that man? He was healed. All Jesus said was be clean, and it happened. Words make a difference. Words can change, right? Okay. To the widow's dead son, Jesus said, young man, I say to you, get up. What happened? He got up. Jesus didn't touch him. He didn't pour water on him. He just said those words, and words changed what happened. He became alive again. To the man with the withered hand, Jesus said, stretch out your hand. And what happened? He stretched out his hand. He was healed of that paralysis or arthritis, whatever it was he had. All Jesus had to say was words, and something dramatically changed in his life, right? Okay. To the deaf mute, Jesus said, be opened. And what happened? He could hear and he could speak. Jesus didn't touch him. Other times he touched people with mud and so on, but he just said 2 words, be opened, and boom, a miracle. Jesus' words changed his life, right? To the corpse of Lazarus, Jesus said, Lazarus, come out. What happened? He came out of the grave alive. Again, Jesus didn't go down and kind of massage his body or say, let's pour water over him or let's dunk him in the Jordan River. He just said, come out, and boom, miracle, he came out. Jesus' words changed, okay? And over here, to the blind man in Jericho, Jesus said, recover your sight. What happened? He could see. So again, he just said those few words, recover your sight, and the blind man could see. So as you can see, can read, words can really make a change in people's lives, just saying words. Now, I might say, well, that was Jesus. But words in our lives can change things dramatically. I'm going to try this next with all of you. Is anyone here a newlywed, married less than a year? Is anyone here newlyweds, married less than a year? Less than 2 years. Bunch of old people. Less than 5 years. Anyone married less than 5 years? In the back? Are you both here? Good. Yay. Didn't know if I have. So if you two, you don't have to do much. All you have to do is give me your names and we'll talk to you. So when were you married? February what? 23. February 23 of 2023?
February 18.
February, you forgot already. February 18th. February 18th of 2023. Okay, what's your first name? Hannah and Kevin. So February 18th, 2023. Do you remember what you looked like on February 17th? Only a year ago. You look pretty much the same, right? February 19th, what'd you look like? Pretty much the same. So the day before your wedding, the day after your wedding, you look exactly the same. But on your wedding day, you said this. I, Kevin, take you, Hannah, to be my wife. I, Hannah, take you, Kevin, to be my husband. I promise to be faithful to you in good times and in bad, in sickness and health, to love you and honor you all the days of my life. If you just said those words, were you changed? What? What happened? You became married. Just by saying those words, those 3 sentences, you were now a married couple. You weren't a married couple on the 18th. You were a married couple on the 17th. You weren't a married couple on the 18th. You were, 19th. You were, and still are today. But you look exactly the same. So even though you said words and great changes in your life, you look the same. Now, the last audience participation here. Do we have anyone who was made a U.S. citizen? Not born in the States, because once you're born here, you're automatically a citizen by birth. Anyone who became a U.S. citizen later on in life? Okay, Linda. Do you remember the date that you took citizenship? You were from Canada, right? Okay, but you're now a U.S. citizen. You said something like this. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I had heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. It's a little bit longer than that, but that's the main part. So the day before, you'll pretty much look the same. The day after, pretty much look the same. But once you took that oath of allegiance, you gave up your Canadian citizenship and became an American citizen, right? So those words change you dramatically. Now I realize that sometimes you can have dual citizenship. But the point that I've been driving is that words can change. Words can change things. So we have to believe when Jesus said, this is my body, tutu est in to soma mu, and he probably spoke Greek at the Last Supper, because Greek was the language of the world at that time, because the influence of the Greek Empire was still all over what we now call Israel. They were forced to speak Latin once the Roman Empire became stronger. Those may have been the exact words. Jesus meant what he said. Tutu est in te haima mu. This is my blood. So if we believe that Jesus can heal by saying words, those who are blind and deaf and dumb and paralyzed and crippled and even dead, we believe those miracles, I think we're out pretty much so, right? Then we have to believe that Jesus' body and blood is really on the altar once I speak those words. And when I say this is my body, I'm not saying the body of Father Bill, of course. The priest at that moment is called a persona Christi. Persona meaning a person, Christi of Christ. That I am acting as a person of Christ, sharing the priesthood of Jesus Christ, and I'm saying what he said at the Last Supper, and it really changes. You know, I'd say, but still looks, tastes, feels, smells like bread and wine. Just as Kevin and Hannah still looked the same the day before the marriage, the day after marriage, but once they said those vows, they were changed, still looking the same. Once Linda said her oath of allegiance to the United States of America, she looked the same as she did the day before, the day next day, but she was changed dramatically. So yes, it still smells, tastes, feels, looks like bread, looks like wine. But we believe that it's changed. The substance has changed. That's a belief that we must have and always hold on to. Words make a difference. Jesus' words made that happen. And my words, Father Jojo's words, Father AJ's words, Father Joe's words, any priest's words are doing exactly what happened at the Last Supper. And finally, because we receive the body and blood of Christ, sometimes we are what we consume, we know that. Our food becomes part of us, part of our skin and blood and everything else. If we receive the real body and blood of Christ, as I mentioned a few weeks ago, we are like living, walking tabernacles. More beautiful than that gorgeous tabernacle there, because we are human beings created in God's image and likeness. And we take this Jesus inside of us out to the world and make the world a better place. This is my body, this is my blood. Now it's going to be in me and in you when you take the Eucharist. Let's go out to the world and make a difference. Jesus said, my flesh is true food, my blood true drink. I take Jesus at his word, literally. I do believe. For when the hour had come for Jesus to be glorified by you, O God most holy, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the very end. While they were at the Last Supper, Jesus took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to his disciples, saying, take this, all of you, and eat of it, for this is my body, which will be given up for you. In a similar way, taking the cup filled with the fruit of the vine, Jesus gave thanks and gave the cup to his disciples, saying, take this, all of you, and drink from it, for this is my blood. The blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for all, for the forgiveness of sins. Do this in memory of me. The mystery of faith.
Until